Survey of outdoor statues has been completed by Art UK. I might be alone in this, but I'm really interested by statues. I'm fascinated by them. I like the way they look, and I like looking at them and being reminded of all the history and all that. That's why I want us to talk about these. Now, 13,500 of them across the country. Men outnumber women by 5 to 1. 175 of the women who are up are all Queen Victoria, so that's even better women.
Amazing.
20 dogs and cats, and 1 kangaroo. Apparently the kangaroo is in Chelmsford, if you're wondering. So, how do we fix this imbalance, panel? Miata, who would you like to see a statue erected to?
So if I could choose anyone, I'd choose Rosa Parks, who kicked off the civil rights movement by refusing to not sit in the black-only part of the bus, and then basically sparked the civil rights movement and a whole wave of protests that ensured that we have the rights that we do today. We've got Martin Luther King, the other sort of father of the civil rights movement. Rosa Parks would be a really nice addition.
OK. Andrew, can you do better than Rosa Parks? That was pretty good.
Well, we sadly and tragically have just lost one of the great rugby icons of the 70s, Phil Bennett. And to me, as someone who grew up in the 70s, Phil Bennett encapsulated everything that was good about the non-professional era of rugby, the amateur era of rugby. He was a brilliant player on the field. He was a passionate advocate for his community in Llanelli, and he was an unassuming character who never pushed himself onto anyone. And sadly and tragically, we've lost him over the last couple of weeks. And I think he encapsulates what many people think was great about the Welsh rugby teams and indeed the Lions teams of the 70s. But importantly, that pre-professional era of rugby where players obviously gave up so much to play with passion on the field of rugby.
Andrew, that was brilliant as well. You're going to get your statue too. I can grant that. Jack?
Well, I'm picking someone who's still alive, controversially, which I think we do still make statues of people who are still alive. But anyway...
So I can give you the ruling on that, actually, because our brilliant researcher, Hannah, did look that up as well. So although everyone says you can't put up statues of people who are still alive, actually, there's no rules anywhere you can't. It's just custom, and certainly the custom in Parliament Square to have been dead for 10 years. But you are indeed allowed to put up a statue to whoever you like.
Good. Well, I'm happy to break all the rules anyway, Tom. It's my country now for the next 20 seconds, right? So I think, you know, the country's been through a very difficult time over the last 10, 15 years. But the one thing that we can be, one of the things we can be really proud of is the development of the AstraZeneca vaccine that has now gone out to about 2.5 billion people around the world. And that was something that was developed very closely in this country, given away at cost value. And I think Dame Sarah Gilbert, who was crucially involved in that process, is someone who we, you know, as the years go by and the decades go by, we will always be proud of that.
It's brilliant, isn't it, how our picture researchers managed to find all these people and throw them straight up on screen as you're saying them.
Magic.
Is a magic trick. I was asked this question in a panel debate on Ready if there was any questions, actually, since you asked. And I was asked point blank, it was like the and finally last question. I was giving no time to think about it at all. And I came up with the Queen. There is not a single statue of the Queen anywhere in the UK. It strikes me as kind of odd, really, because she's sort of iconic. But anyway, each their own. All right, final question. This one we haven't prepared for you, I'm afraid, with no pictures to show you. Which statues would you take down?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, sir.
I know where I'd start.
All right, Jack, go first.
Every time you walk down Whitehall, because we work in House of Parliament several days a week, and you walk down Whitehall, and there are statues of old military men who, I'm afraid,
who liberated the country from oppression.
In centuries gone by, some of them did things that are not things that we would be proud of in this country if we did them today. And I think those statues should be moved to a different place and given a bit of context about what happened, rather than just paraded with their names in the street the way they are and have been for 100, 200 years.
Can I have his?
Andrew, let's come to you while Miata thinks. I'm not going to let you off, I'm afraid. Andrew, briefly, any statues you'd take down immediately tomorrow?
No, I generally can't think of any, because obviously someone who's been put up in statue form at that time in history was a prominent figure. I do think there's a role for contextualization of those figures, and sometimes you might need to add a plaque or two to explain the context. But who are we to actually rewrite history?
All right, 20 seconds to go for Miata to... Still struggling?
What about the kangaroo? Take down the kangaroo, that's ridiculous.
What about Margaret Thatcher in Grantham?
Yeah, I actually got asked this question in Question Time, and do you know what? I don't agree with Margaret Thatcher, but she has her place in history. Perhaps the people of Grantham may not have wanted her, but I think she probably should be somewhere.